Hey guys, welcome to video 5 of 8. In this week, we're going to be talking about presenting your offer with ease. So I'm going to kick this off and I'm going to hand this to Win. For me, one of my biggest challenges with sales conversations was really the way I was taught early on how to talk about the offer, talk about what I wanted to do for them or the challenges I wanted to solve. And the problem was it was heavily scripted. It had really clear steps like find out what their vision is, find out what their challenge is, ask them what it would feel like to achieve their vision, and ask them how terrible it feels like to live in the life they have now. And then when you get them in the right feeling state, give them your offer because your solution is going to help them, get more of the good stuff, avoid the bad stuff. And it was so hard for me to do that because in my heart of hearts, I knew how manipulative, emotionally manipulative that was. I wouldn't do that to anybody I love, but here I was trying to do it to people I genuinely wanted to create um, relationship with. Relationship whereby I'm their coach and I'm helping them or I'm selling them a service or a product. So I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And then one day, I'll never forget it. I was crossing the street in Santa Monica with a friend. We were attending a coaching training. And I was asking him about this, like, how do you do your how do you do your thing? How do you, offer what you do? And he looked at me and said, well, I just listen to them and then I get a sense of what might be really helpful for them. And then I tell them. And I thought, what do you really do? Because it sounded way too simple. And then later that afternoon, it was a coaching exercise at the training I was doing where we would listen to the person and then we would just tell them if we were to the task was listen to the person in front of you and then ask yourself if you were to give them a gift, what would you give them? And it was one of the most beautiful conversations I had. And I still remember it today. And I still remember the person I did that exercise with. And that's what I would want to give to you is listen to someone until you can feel the golden thread between your heart and theirs by bringing the nicest feeling you can. And then reflect on what would what would change their life? What would be really, really helpful to them? What would change the game for them? And I'm going to add to this that sometimes if it doesn't come to you right away, you can totally tell the person that you need time to think about it. You need time to reflect on it. And there's something about slowing down the conversation where you're telling the other person the truth that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to think about you. I'm going to reflect on you. And I'm going to come back with something that I think would be really helpful for you. Totally fine. Totally okay. Really, there's something about that feeling of slowing down that puts the other person at ease and lets them know that you're really genuine in helping them and you're not trying to close a quick deal really quickly. And that's what it's like for me to share your offer with ease because you're coming from a sense of ease and you're sharing from the heart. And I'm going to hand this to Win.
Well, I think you've said everything I'd want to say beautifully there. Um, and a really great summary of the entire selling process. Once we've listened and understood, now we get to say back to them what we see is on offer. And the way that in my mind, the words that I have it in my mind that helps me with this is, what's my wish for them? The biggest wish I could have. And if they understood that, that would change their entire life. And the reason I think that's really helpful, well, two things. Number one, it's about them, not me. So there's zero manipulation, zero space for icky feeling within me, because all that exists is, oh, I have a wish for them. Genuine service as opposed to what I need. All about them. And the other thing is, the biggest wish for me, it just takes me out of the weeds of the detail of what they've been saying into the bigger picture. And people tend to get a huge amount of relief and release from seeing, oh, it's that? Yeah. Wow. And the bit that I love with this as well is if it occurs to me, if I'm clear enough during the first conversation, once I've listened, that is clear to me, then I will say it. But I would tend to follow that up in an email. And I also might have an idea, it might occur to me on the format of how that might work. So I might say, okay, here are, one, two, or three things that this is my wish for you or wishes for you. And this is how I might suggest that we work together on making that happen, whether it's, a 3-day immersion to begin with and then a call every 2 weeks for the next 3 months, or it is going to be, let's spend a day together and then let's spend another day together the following weekend, or it could be just a bunch of calls every week. I don't know, but I don't need to know until it occurs to me what makes sense in the moment with somebody. Or another way of saying it, I don't want to have fixed rules and try to make them fit in with my best thinking. Now, that's just me. That doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean it'll work for you. I'm not suggesting that's how it works. What I'm suggesting is you get to find your own way and to know that what occurs to you, you're okay in saying that to somebody, including I don't know and I want to reflect on this. So that's what comes to mind. And if I was to summarize it in the way that you did to yours, Nikon, it would be know your biggest wish, know it's about them, and say that you can help and you'd love to.